These are the moments which shook the music world to its very core. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 shocking music scandals.
The radio station set up these garbage cans for people to throw out their CDs.
They had the hottest song in the country, and it died.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be ranking the most infamous, scandalous, or otherwise shocking situations that occurred within the music industry and had significant repercussions and consequences for the artists and other parties involved.
I lost my best friend. Like, everything I knew switched.
Number 10, Payola.
Cash, it was cocaine, there was hookers, some sort of payment for service that isn't necessarily legal to do.
The idea of corruption within the music industry is nothing new. It also takes many forms, one of them being payola, a term used to describe the taking of a bribe, financial or otherwise, in exchange for radio airplay. This practice was commonplace between record labels and DJ personalities for decades, until congressional investigations into payola directly impacted such beloved radio hosts as Dick Clark and Alan Freed.
It was not illegal at that point. It became illegal in early 1960s when the Congress said, no more of this, it's against the law.
The latter was fired as a result of his association with payola, while DJs in general were no longer put in charge of directly influencing or deciding radio programming and which music would be played on air.
You know what? It's not about me, it's about rock and roll.
Number 9, Dixie Chicks Backlash. During the early days of the Iraq War, Natalie Maines, singer for the popular country group the Dixie Chicks, took the stage in England and spoke her mind. Maines introduced the band's song Travelin' Soldier with a comment which stated, in part, that the Southern group was ashamed that the President of the United States is from Texas. Reaction was swift and harsh for the Chicks after news of this statement reached the US, with some fans calling for a boycott of the band, while others sent Maines threatening letters.
Natalie Maines will be shot dead Sunday, July 6th.
The uproar would eventually subside after Maines publicly apologized directly to the president, but the damage done was never really repaired.
It went way beyond feelings being hurt. It was this unbelievable hatred.
Number 8, 2 Live Crew arrested for obscenity.
I know that you're with it, so don't start fronting. I don't want to be your man, I want to move something.
These days, not much, in the music world or otherwise, shocks us, with much of society now desensitized towards sex or violence. This wasn't exactly the case back in the late 80s, however, prime example being an incident involving the Miami hip-hop group 2 Live Crew. Their 1989 album As Nasty As They Wanna Be landed the group in hot water with Florida officials after it was deemed obscene by a US district court. 2 Live Crew were arrested after performing the material at a local club and were forced to defend their right for free speech in court. The ruling was eventually overturned, in the process making As Nasty As They Wanna Be a bona fide smash hit. Number 7, Milli Vanilli lip sync scandal.
I'm in love with you, girl, 'cause you're on my mind. You're the one I think about most every time.
The year was 1990, and the German pop group Milli Vanilli were riding high upon a wave of incredible success. The handsome duo even nabbed a Best New Artist award from the Grammys that year and seemed poised for MTV superstardom. Then, as they say, it all came crashing down. It was revealed that Milli members Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan hadn't actually sung any of the songs on the record and lip-synced all of their live performances.
We were famous, now we were infamous, just like that.
The Grammy was taken away, sales started to slump, and not even an attempted comeback using Rob and Fab's real voices could save Milli Vanilli from becoming one of the decade's most infamous musical casualties.
And I will make sure that the name Milli Vanilli itself means when you fall, you stand back up and you move on.
Number 6, Norwegian black metal and the murder of Euronymous. It would be easy for the uninitiated to see the Norwegian black metal scene as something straight out of the cinema. Truth is stranger than fiction, however, as evidenced by the case of Euronymous guitarist for the influential black metal band Mayhem. The musician, born Øystein Arseth, was stabbed to death in his Oslo home by Christian Varg Verkenes, a former bandmate.
He was planning to knock me out with an electro-shock pistol like the type the security guards carry, and tie me up, take me into the forest and make a snuff film while torturing me to death.
Rumors flew as to the motives behind the killing, ranging from finances and jealousy to competing against other violent acts performed by other musicians within the black metal scene.
Han mente vel at han kommersialiserte av en eller annen absurd grunn da. Han ville jo ikke ha noe PR på det her, Øystein. Han ville liksom at det skulle være sånn helt sånn der lokka, kult.
Varg would serve nearly 15 years of a 21-year sentence before being paroled in 2009. Number 5. Chris Brown assault charges. Rihanna and Chris Brown were a popular R&B it couple amongst their respective fans until one incident changed things forever. Brown turned himself into police in February 2009 on charges that he physically assaulted Rihanna during a verbal altercation. The incident would leave Rihanna with visible injuries to her face and immediately caused a huge backlash against Brown, who up until that point had enjoyed sizable chart success. Brown cancelled an appearance at the Grammy Awards that year and saw a number of his lucrative endorsement deals go up in smoke. He would plead guilty to felony assault charges in June and received a deal of 5 years probation, community service, and counseling. Number 4. Gary Glitter arrested for possession of child pornography. 1970s glam icon Gary Glitter and new metal singer Ian Watkins both earned themselves deserved falls from grace when it was revealed that both had been in possession of child pornography. Glitter's rap sheet includes convictions for multiple counts of child sexual abuse, while an investigation into Watkins revealed video evidence of his unimaginable crimes of rape and sexual violence against young children.
There is no doubt in my mind that Ian Watkins has exploited his celebrity status in order to abuse young children.
Honestly, the less said about these two, the better. Number 3. R. Kelly's sex tape. R&B singer R. Kelly was gearing up to perform at the 2002 Winter Olympics when news in Chicago broke out about a video which allegedly displayed R. Kelly having sex with and urinating on an underage girl. Kelly denied the accusations, yet a search of his Florida home turned up more evidence, which furthered a second case against Kelly. His eventual trial was fraught with delays, with the jury ultimately acquitting the singer in June of that year on all charges. The ordeal didn't stop there, however, with a report by BuzzFeed surfacing in July of 2017 accusing Kelly of leading an abusive sex cult that involves the abduction, manipulation, and control of several young women.
My daughter is being held against her will.
She's brainwashed to the point where she says anything that he asks her to say.
Number 2. Phil Spector is tried for murder.
In the 60s and 70s, he worked with the biggest acts, including the Beatles.
By all accounts, Phil Spector was a legend of the music industry, a singer, songwriter, and producer extraordinaire who enjoyed untold success and influence throughout his career. Spector's personal demons and eccentricities caught up with him when he was put on trial in 2007 for the murder of actress Lana Clarkson. The crime had occurred in Spector's California mansion 4 years prior, and it would take 2 more years before a jury would convict the disgraced former icon. Spector was given a sentence of 19 years to life for the crime, during which he claimed that Clarkson had committed accidental suicide by kissing the gun. Before we get to our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Fight the real enemy.
He said, "Girl, I loved you the first time I laid eyes on you." And I said, "What?" Now, being a 13-year-old girl, idolizing this man, what are you going to do?
They had that booth, and that picture of that night was taken in the booth at Rodney's. That's the night he kidnapped me.
Yeah.
And I realized how he was serious. He wasn't kidding that he was going to be with me,
Yeah,
whether I liked it or not.
Number 1. Sex abuse and Michael Jackson.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
The life and career of Michael Jackson was filled with some of the highest highs and the lowest of lows. Unfortunately, it would be accusations of child sexual abuse that would follow the King of Pop, starting with the high-profile Jordan Chandler case in 1993.
The most loving thing to do is to share your bed with someone.
Jackson proclaimed and maintained his innocence, and even wedded Lisa Marie Presley the following year. However, many saw the marriage as a publicity stunt. Public opinion regarding Jackson's strange behavior with young boys never truly went away, especially with a new trial on similar charges arising again in 2005.
He would call me every day and role play and tell me the same sort of things, and also tell me then that if anyone ever thought that we did these things, any of these sexual things, that both of us would go to jail.
Up to and since his death on June 25, 2009, the rumors have persisted.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.